I did not realize that I was signing down the kids when I was just sitting up and meeting. So,
I don't even have, I mean, like, again, I found out about today, yesterday, I found out.
no, I had heard about it last time.
I didn't realize there was a mailing list.
Hmm?
What time do you start, Joe? 6:30?
Yeah, 6:30. I will do very quick, small introductions.
For us?
Yeah, for all of them.
Okay. And then pitching after that, right? And then Ben
After the
Moffett.
first panel,
Okay.
which Prakash is here.
Percussion or
Okay, yeah. Then he will take care of
okay,
it.
cool.
Someone could have done that. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. What's the shirt? What's the company? The name of your company, man? Huh? What's the name of your Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, pepperoni sounds It's Liberty Anchor. You're the CEO, man. You always want to be the first guy.
Hey.
I'm good?
Yeah. will get chance. There are few reasons. We're not going to go all together.
Do you want a beer, food, or anything?
I'll have later. I'll have to just take care of.
What's the other jobs? What time are they going?
Hmm?
So you give them half hour to people that come in and stuff, right?
Yeah.
They run on energy. Don't that lot, right? Thank you a lot. Ready to moderate? Yep. The panel, we should get those chairs up front. The panel, we should get those panel chairs up there.
Yeah, I
That's
think.
a better idea, right?
Yeah. But
Hi, Atul. I'm
Hi.
Rohit.
Rohit Sharma.
Yeah,
Oh, you're participating. Yeah.
right. So,
You are. No, you are.
oh wow, that's really small font.
Yeah, because I have to show it in the.
Yeah, that's fine.
6th number. Yeah, maybe you.
Oh, is that right? There's a picture of that? I didn't see that.
So, would they be how would you select out of?
They will be voting.
They're like people, yeah.
So, when would we know about that?
Right, real time. Even you can check.
How?
I have sent you this.
Yeah, my email, I've not been able to log in, so my email is not working. Do you have a URL I can
No, just through email. Why you're not able?
I changed my phone. This is a brand new phone.
Yeah, you check from home, but you know this.
I have the laptop. I can check it from there. But okay, no, that's fine. I can check it
I
from
have
there.
sent these links. To
Yeah, I know. I know.
And there is one,
Live.
not here, but to you I have sent.
I remember.
That's good. No, I really should have. It wasn't on the color. I don't know. I knew a copy with that. It's one of those niche things. So one more time. Right now, we're judging TV. I want to store all this historic data. I would have expected to have a process. You would think so, no. That's so we can hear AI. Which is better than just. It's amazing. It doesn't exist. No. I mean, this is it. Does the data exist? Yeah, it's one thing in place. This is good, right? So it's just not put into it. The utility company that we have now. Okay, so you have to resources and time to actually. No, that's the, this should be, because there's only time. Everybody's moving to second. As soon as they can, it's sure. Or once as phone calls. Yeah, it was because it's so very fish. $37 million everything India was spending. So we always show them that. Not only can I say that, but it's on it's on Halifax. I ended up for it being people talk about the state's pushing out a grant.
Hey.
You must be a tool.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Ariel at Techcode. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
hosting.
thank you for coming all the way from.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, we're excited to be here. We've heard a lot
We saw
about
the
you.
organization. We're quite impressed. This is very cool.
Oh, great. How?
The background.
How?
Well, we're kind of interested in what we've got ourselves into. We're very excited to see. We looked through some of the startups in the space today. I'm not sure which ones got selected to pitch.
New York State, not New York State. The state of New York is interested in taking the company.
That's good.
Yeah. So our job is to recommend.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the next one's January 9th.
Yeah. And if you like, we can help you just let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Is this part of that or not?
Yeah, actually it depends on how the investors want. They want just one event, they want.
So you host this for investors.
Yeah.
They basically get responsible for the event.
Yeah. If they want to build any startup, then we build a community friendly program.
It's today's sponsor.
Yeah,
Oh, so they're the ones on the flyers that are great. Okay. They're okay with it as well.
yeah.
That's great.
So if we were to do, let's say, we're done outside of the valley, or I mean,
I have done multiple places. Yeah.
have you done New York?
Yeah, but not things that would I've done other things. Yes. Networking. Yeah. We can plan something there if you want. Yeah, but if you.
We want to see how this goes.
Yeah.
This is
But
very
I'd love
interesting.
to hear just something.
So it's just you that puts this all on? It's just you that puts this all on?
Yeah, there are other couple of days.
Yeah.
We have an ecosystem. So most of the ones
Yeah, different kind of
flavor.
ventures.
Like a menu and options.
Yeah. I share with you.
Okay, thank you. No, it's very cool this one.
So what about the platform? What do we do?
Oh, okay.
How do you go for it?
So who's going to decide when?
So the email that said they nominated, we're not supposed to nominate.
I already nominated.
No,
But that's not part of the judgment.
February.
But that's not part of the judgment. So that was like a pre-evaluation.
January 1st.
Which six should be given chance?
Yes.
Not all-
Check the holiday gift.
That's what I was
It's based on
Okay, so
judges.
Separate event we'll have every month.
After the big times, then it's going to start.
And then we want to do
No,
I mean,
before the event.
apply or you have to apply? We apply on our site.
Yeah, fine.
From there, completely program, there's a really good
Yeah, I do have.
It's part of proof that we're here.
Oh, it's my. I have to bring it. It's in the car.
How many do you have in the meantime? Because I want to show you.
Okay, really good. Just be ready. As long as I have all this.
I'll take it.
It's in my
Friday they can drink all they want.
And you know,
I think you can have that. That's easy. Yeah. And then. Come here. Barbara. Come here.
Mariella.
I just done it yesterday. So just what you guys part of this one. Done it yesterday. If you want to. Yeah. So you guys where you come from? Yesterday I went to the weather. I went to one party before the party. Someone brought me. Yeah, but they were. I'm starting up.
Me and Amir, we had
Yeah, he was like, you should go to this program in Rochester. We have interest.
right.
Well, not because of his recommendation, but
Not sponsoring events, I used to help
We're the program.
So they have the land, basically they have the form, and all the connections, right. And then there is 12 weeks of that
That's what we're the first 5 years. We have a different until it's signed off, I can't. But we're okay to say that they're going to go over the local. Okay, no, but we'll have.
yeah, I think at a very early stage, we think that most of the ideas can fall into things like mobile app or
He was representing the sort of the Rochester area. He's like, hopefully next year or year after. He's from Rochester.
Yeah,
he's from Rochester.
yeah.
So I met the Rochester people yesterday at the B partners conference. That's pretty much like the party. Well, like, you guys should have
I have my house there, rented.
Support of the government would be something that we want to know. Let's chat a little bit after the program.
I have been Rochester for 12 years. Where?
I don't know if we raise our bus.
Yeah, upstairs actually Buffalo is
So when you want to walk us per area, you only get something. Might be you never expand. Focus on
I think with the Hillary Clinton, one of our area was the clean energy
So Agile is part of it. It's more about our program is based on teaching the take a prototype and actually
Yeah,
get
in New York City.
So they have to have a prototype system?
Yeah, no prototype. So they have something that works. Something that's database. So they're virtualized database. That's my biggest and update the update.
There is also a
That's one thing that I see all of it towards
nearby.
every single one.
That was my kind of never
Pilot beta is regulated by
I still get the email.
fundraising, which is like B partners, so everyone teaches so fast because that's their expertise, and they'll learn the companies get to interact with. I don't care. So that's, I mean, so I've been on this team myself, and I know actually.
Yeah, my wife did her PhD. So I have a bittersweet relationship with campus because I was taking 2 kids over here.
Right, so I think the interface
Yes,
We just
Huh? Yeah. Okay, you take care of everything. I'll be here. Okay. Right from there. I'll just thank for a minute and then we'll take care of it. Okay.
I don't know how it is. That's one, but that's one I know what the theory looks like.
What's your role in this ecosystem?
It's okay, people are coming, so it's okay. 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
I got 30-something users. So making money is still so yeah.
I see it. Have you heard?
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. My name is right.
How old is the new
Not many. They kind of so far. I started like 2 weeks ago. So yeah. I didn't bring my. I had to go out of car now.
Is that right? If it's got more better gone, let me know.
You just introduce another use case. Everybody can post business once you post once, everybody can say like,
You guys in the S7 stuff. You guys stay here or is that?
that's true. That's true. That's always true. But a lot of times, with the currency, because chances are no one's going to have this product.
That's the word for that. I live in the city and
So,
Is that the one? Wait, there's a back room, there's a back room. Like that, right? There's the street, right? Okay, I know where that is. I've been there. You live in the back? Now you're growing up. Hang out.
So right now, all the chapters are
Starting, yeah. Let's start. It's hanging. I'll send, but it's hanging here.
How are you live streaming it?
From here, but it's hanging. Open source, OBS.
Should we use Google Meet?
yeah.
That's not something Google has that. I have full paid account.
That's not something I would like.
Next time we'll figure it out. Yeah. When my mom wants to see it, so send me fucking. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, a second source will be targeted advertising. For example, if I go to then it's like the process. I can do the same processing of this being chat, right? The information can send it back. There is a firm. While we are talking about this topic, injecting advertisement at the right time. Still, that's another issue. Right. This is both of them. Something I won't consider. The focus right now is
We'll start just as soon as people sit, but because this is office time.
I said I intended to.
No, that's fine. I was just asking for the signal.
10 minutes.
Would it be fair to assume that we sit here?
Yeah, judges here, yeah.
Is there an extra plugs?
No.
Sort of, yeah. Okay. All just have very within 12 months, kind of be success. There you go. China trends. Yeah. So straight to China. So no, we just met also. It's very nice. Yeah, it's very nice. No, we just started. People are getting it.
Yeah, so this won't work. Let's start.
Is it a computer or is it internet?
I don't know, it was working already. I started all the cameras working. And now I don't know. It's okay, anyway, we don't have time to.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
you're recording it, right? Anyways. Record it. If you record it, we can just release it on YouTube and stuff.
I haven't recorded yet.
Record it. So you see people or you're Krishna?
Yeah.
Just do main recording. It's not working. People are getting agitated.
Yeah, no, I haven't prepared for recording. This can record, it has to
It's fine. Just take pictures. Directions. Sit down. Is it right? Sit down. No, we should sit down.
you can see that.
Yeah, so we have that.
Hello, good evening. Let's get started in a few minutes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Hello. Today's event is HackAVertical 5G is sponsored by our accelerator, Marl Accelerator and Techcode. So we are very thankful to Marl and Techcode to be our sponsors. Marl is a new accelerator started by Amir Khan. He's the founder and managing director, and Prakash Goswami. Both are founders and managing directors. They're launching it next month. They're in February, and they're starting their first cohort in which they are going to start their program for yeah. So
I'll just say hi, everybody. Can you all hear me back there? Hi. So my name is Amir. I've been an entrepreneur before. Quite a few times. Only one time succeeded. You know, that's the game. Name of the game. So I've learned how to. I've learned how during my time, about 4 years ago, entrepreneurship. I've learned the sort of secret recipe that worked for me, and everybody else is different. And whatever I've learned from my mistakes, what not to do is my goal is to share with future founders. And 5G is always fascinated to me, and I believe that that makes me found the Marl Accelerator, which is acronym. So it's because it's the verticals that we focus on. So mobility, autonomy, robotics, and logistics, with the enablement of 5G. Our first cohort starts February next year. We're actually taking applications, or vetting applications as of right now. We do give initial capital, mentorship. Our mentors are not just the industry expert, but the top tier venture firm general partners and principals are there. So they want to spend time with companies. Our goal is to provide the companies coming in into our cohort, provide them with right guidance, in not only in fundraising, but also in sales, business development, and operating a business itself. And at the end of our program, we hope our companies are ready to accept the seed/Series A round from our partner venture groups.
And I would like to quickly thank the organizations that have been supporting our events. Silicon Valley Indian Professionals Association. It's a 30-year-old organization run by volunteers and supported by many companies and organizations and sponsors in the Bay Area. And California Software Professionals Association. It's also a very old organization, 30-year-old organization. And Silicon Valley AI and Cloud, an American Association of Precision Medicine for Precision Medicine. So we are very thankful to all our volunteers and sponsors for helping us, for supporting our events.
And we have our special guests.
And today we have a couple of special guests. They are like angel investors, and they work for they work for their organizations. We have Arber Rushi. He's director at NYCRIN, New York City State Running Organization, and Ariella, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Great.
Trotsenko.
Keep going.
She's also at New York City Regional Innovation Node. And Nilesha, he's an angel investor. And Priyanka Shah, I don't see her. So yeah, thank you everyone for your time. And we have Mr. Sunjay Prasad. Yeah. So, yeah, so let's get started. We have a panel on 5G. It's moderated by Prakash Goswami.
I think the without the microphone, is it okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I think less logistics to deal with. So thank you so much for coming over here on Thursday evening in a kind of challenging weather, and I really appreciate it. And I think this is the first stop for the HackAVertical for our vertical focused meetup. So we will look forward to see more of these and more participation in the future. We have a very impressive panelist, Sanjay and Amit. I will let them do a short introduction for them, and then we have a couple of maybe 5-6 questions that we think that as a general population or in the tech founders, they can be aware of, or they can address it on their own way. So we will just address those questions. So Sanjay, go ahead.
So I am Sanjay Pasari, and last 25 years I've been working in telecom industry, telecom space. So I had an opportunity to see right from 2G to 5G what we are going to see next year. Some commercial rollout will happen. And in the process, I got an opportunity to deliver many innovative products, all the value-added services on the mobile side. That's my specialization. And also work with a lot of startups. And I learned from others' failures, unlike Amir was talking about learning from his failures. So I got a little lucky and wiser in that sense. So here now I'm associated with Mark as one of the mentors here.
In very short career that I have in general, I have started management consulting after college in San Francisco. That's where I've mostly been. Started a couple of startups, didn't work out, and nothing to be named of. But from there, I decided to, from personal experience, open a company called LendTech, which focused on lending software for banks, credit unions, and private lenders. So we started from one person from my closet to 35 people through global teams, and raised about $7.5 million Series A. Then made a very fortunate exit by an investment bank called US Capital Global in San Francisco as well. And I spent about a year there, and I was just bored. And I said, this is not what I want to do. So from there, then came the idea of what I can do is more about helping other people, and that's what I found my calling. So here am I today.
And Amira and I, we know each other from 2016.
2016 from LendTech
since his LendTech space. I have a fintech startup as well. So at that time, we kind of exchange our the ups and downs and how to manage, and then we became close friends, and we thought of joining hands on the small accelerator. I think both of our experiences can be put together for a greater cause. So without any further delay, I have a couple of questions. Sanjay, what is the industry 4.0 or they call it as an industrial revolution, fourth industrial revolution, what it is and how 5G plays a role in it?
I think what you're talking about industry 4.0, 5G will essentially catalyze and drive this. Because till now we have seen just about an automation of the manufacturing process. Now there are three things which 5G will enhance in a big way. It will actually catalyze it to a next level of manufacturing process. One is on the logistics side in terms of managing their supply chain. Now supply chain is not just about procuring from your suppliers and vendors, it's about getting all the material to the machines, the right kind of material on time. And the second thing is of course the whole manufacturing process itself, because with the massive IoT which we are talking in 5G, that will take the center stage of entire production process. Now that will really help a new level of economies of scale. New level of economies itself. It opens up a whole new level of economy. And the third one is of course the worker safety. While having said that, a lot of robotics and automated and sensor-based manufacturing processes, but still there will be people moving around, so it will enhance. So this whole 4.0 will be something very different, which we see like 1.0 to 3.0, and something beyond our comprehension at this point in time, because the use cases will keep opening up as we keep advancing.
Great. Amir, how big is this opportunity?
As of right now, it was done by Goldman Sachs, did a report on it, about $19.5 billion per year, opportunity-wise, in 5G infrastructure and 5G sales that will be predicted in the next 3 years. And then infrastructure-wise, AT&T and T-Mobile has put about $75 billion infrastructure upgrades. And as you may see or hear news, T-Mobile is rolling out this, I'll call it slightly subversion of 5G 600 megahertz wavelength, December 6th, which is tomorrow, I think?
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. Tomorrow will be in the full-on 5G network. Whoever has T-Mobile, they will see the difference tomorrow.
I'd like to add on here, I mean, these are the numbers from US, but if you
Yeah.
take the 5G opportunity in terms of economic output, which is going to happen over the next 15 years, it will add about 13.2 trillion, according to one of the studies. And globally, every year there will be $230 billion, upwards of $230 billion every year will be spent on the 5G infrastructure and the ecosystem. So it's going to be huge, huge.
So guys, feel excited, jump on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
What are the typical few use cases comes in top of your mind that 5G can address and make our lives, daily lives better?
Absolutely. I mean, there's many use cases, all the verticals that we focus on the healthcare we found. So mobility, we're talking about the transfer of data on edge computing. So people have found that cloud computing is good, but the edge is even better. It's faster because the transmission of data does happen from the device itself to the cloud. It takes a while. It's costly. It's kind of ineffective in a way. So we're seeing companies are popping up in edge computing right now. So they are taking the container system, putting in the Raspberry Pis or sensor overload system that's running the sensors itself. So that's one use case. In the case of autonomy, so autonomous cars, as of right now, they operate and process all the data, computer vision and sensor data, LiDAR and radar data on the device itself. So NVIDIA is leader in that. So once the 5G full roll out, we anticipate most of the processing will happen actually in the cloud or the edge side of that piece. This will not only create a faster processing for those cars. Right now, they're like literally, they call them smart cars, but they're not fully smart cars. Will change the dynamic of how the autonomous vehicles operate. I'm not just talking about cars, drones, and other supply chain trucks and other things that we do see, and logistics. And if we go from logistics side, our partner UPS Ventures, they are ready to deploy something called better tracking system. So with the help of 5G, so every warehouse at UPS has about 50 million packages. With the help of 5G, they will be able to determine where exactly a single package in that warehouse is at like any given time. So better tracking, and that will cut costs and insurance in a lot of ways. So I see a lot of those. And as we move along, as we're moving a step forward in this revolution, we will see hundreds of thousands of use cases popping up in the world.
Do you want to add something?
Yeah, in fact, he was talking about the assets moving. It's not only about the movement of the asset, but it will also track the health of the assets. So there is a farm produce which is moving right from, say, Central of America to West Coast. And during the entire process of transition, it will be monitoring the health of the farm produce. So as I said, there are hundreds of thousands of use cases in each of these industries which will open up, whether it's logistics, healthcare. Healthcare is going to be big, extremely big. I think one of our focus is healthcare.
We plan to, next year we plan to launch healthcare. Right now it's only Mara, but we do plan the healthcare.
No, as a part of
As a part of Mara, yeah.
So that a good segue to for my next question is the priority of the adoption is a big factor, right? And the big players, they adopt, then the whole technology moves that way. So from the adoption perspective, what are the areas where the priority attention will be given for next 1 to 2 years, and then it will increase the pie?
I think, as I said, there are two most immediate sectors. One is logistics, second is healthcare. Having said this, I have a strong gut feeling that the time difference between adoption by one sector and the other sector will not be a great time difference. It will be almost like simultaneously people will be experimenting on adopting the 5G network to deliver almost everything going to be smart. Like I was talking about the manufacturing process, we are getting into a smart factory kind of situation. So starting with this and not to end, immediate after that would be probably education. It's one of the gentlemen here, I met Alex, they are doing something in video. And that's a big area as well, because the entertainment and the video production, like today the consumption, as I said, I've been 25 years in telecom space, so we have seen just a text consumption today, from just only text consumption to today all video consumption. So a lot of use cases coming in this. So the time difference in terms of adoption by one industry and other industry will be very small. But immediate use cases, again, I repeat, is healthcare and logistics.
Yeah, and just to add, just a quick one, as far as the adoption in the U.S., the big players are moving in, and as a T-Mobile is coming in, AT&T is right behind it. And what we were anticipating 8 months ago when I started this initiative on raising the fund, I was told by AT&T people, innovation people, I would not name who, AT&T was like, it's going to happen in 2025. Don't worry about it. This is too early. You guys are too early. But I keep working on it, and we were ZTE or the Huawei. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. Huawei. So Huawei led that initiative in launching 5G across the world, and then China just released 5G about month and a half ago in 50 cities. So that's creating that push on the U.S. side to get this competition side to push it further. So our anticipation was we start getting the companies out, we get the companies in 2020, 5G rollout would happen in 2021. So this kind of the China leading the way, it kind of pushed, it worked in our benefit a lot. So now everyone is talking about 5G. 8 months ago, no one really knew what 5G is. People were like, oh, it's going to give me radiation, it's going to give me this, but no one talks about that. So.
Great. So a quick segue on that. In today's deep tech founders or research scientists in the university lab, how they can think of exploiting this opportunity and jump in.
In my case, they do need a full-on like infrastructure to run 5G. T-Mobile is doing a good job, but Verizon has set up innovation labs at all major cities, major hubs. So if someone is actually working on 5G tech, they're welcome to go check it out. And I think I'm happy to. And if someone here is working on fiddle around with it, with your product or services, come talk to me. I can happily connect you with the Verizon folks where you can spend time there and test it out.
So that gives me the plug how Mar 5G accelerator can help with these people.
Perfect. Our goal is to really empower founders who are working on this, and not just by writing you a check, but actually connecting you. Because I know no matter how how big is your check is, at the end of the day, you as a founder or you as an entrepreneur does need a lot of help, which includes the industry leaders, industry experts, and the people who have spent years in this, like how to perfect it, and mentors like myself, Prakash, and we have about 135 mentor lists, and this includes from corporate VCs to people from Workday, people from Oracle, people from the high-top product, people from SoftBank, Japan Telecom, Orange, and I can keep naming those. I'm talking about stuff like that. But one story is really, I have to say, when Sanjay and I met, and this was fascinating. I remember when Reliance came out. This story I tell everybody this. When Reliance came out, I remember I was young, and this first phone 3G came out in India. It was like I grew up in India, so it was like very cheap. It was to make the phone like affordable to people. That was that.
It was like $10 a year.
Yeah, $10 phone, and that initiative was taken by Reliance, and coincidentally, by the time when I was using this phone, I'm getting excited about watching black and white video, like Bollywood song. He was the guy who actually made those things happen back in the day. So I'm very, very excited, and every time I say, like, my things, my hair stands up. I was like, wow, I remember that coincidentally.
I did this like in 2001. I lost that, and even after 20 years, I still get goosebumps
Right.
with these stories, because that time the term App Store or a Play Store was not existing, and this R-World was the first, technically the first ever App Store. So we had like hundreds of products and services riding on that thing, and I had an opportunity to deliver that. And millions of people using overnight. My servers were melting. There was so much of traffic there. Each of our dimensions went wrong. My RF planning went wrong. Devavrata is the RF guy here. So our entire network went haywire just because of that R-World. So this was one of the biggest breakthroughs we could deliver, and it was one of the biggest innovations as well.
Well, that's what happens when you give us any free phone. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
$10.
$10. Well, yeah, free.
So Amir, who else is in this space?
There's
how Marl accelerator can be different than the others.
Look, I mean, accelerator market is flooded in a way. It's with too many people, two different things. Generalists out there, the name brand, which You go there, you get your, badge of honor and really no help. They'll give you 100K, and then other people invest in you after that. I wouldn't name names, but there are examples like that. Our approach is different. We are very focused on these verticals and these verticals only. So we built that network of mentors, network of investors that focus exactly on these verticals. And not just seed, but Series A, Series B, so follow on. So we want to get ready for those. And so our goal is to really be very focused, really, because I've been an entrepreneur myself, and I know what mistakes I've made, and really, like, we want to do our best to make you aware of what mistakes or problems you may run into. So it's guidance community. And Verizon had some sort of initiative with 5G, but the corporate initiative never goes anywhere.
Yeah. That's why they all of them, they try working with plug and play type of centers who brings the outside in view and help these organizations to move forward with the latest technologies, latest products, and the latest use cases.
Right. We have a saying in corporate venture groups, they see the deals very last. They get the very last look at the deal. Everyone just passes back, then they get those deals.
Great. Sanjay, so with your experience, what do you think these deep tech founders, they can follow certain best practices to make the success rate little higher? Because most of the B2B startups I have seen, they struggle initially with the beta customers, and then they go into the consulting mode, they somehow survive, but their original product vision, time is the key, and original product vision gets diluted over a period of time. So what are the best practices they can follow so that the success rate is much higher?
So to answer this, first thing is deep tech is a little long haul. It's not like you're building a shallow tech product in 90 days you can take something out. It will take minimum 3 to 4 years to really get something meaningful, commercially viable out there. The most important thing is partnering with the ecosystem, and which includes the universities where all the research is happening, which includes the corporations, like he was talking about Verizon putting up a small test lab for anyone who wants to do something on 5G. So there are most of the large corporations have some kind of test lab or a POC kind of a facility where, so you have to partner with them as well. Then there are policymakers, the government, because most of the startups don't even realize that what they are doing today, by the time they're actually commercially out in the market, a lot of policy changes will happen. So they have to align themselves, and they have to keep an eyes open, in terms of how the policies, not only in the country which they are operating, but around the globe. Because we have seen all these policies regarding electronic media, telecommunication have been evolving every day. Few years back, no one would talk about data privacy. Today, world over, it has become the biggest issue. And more of such things will come. We are talking of 5G today. 5G spectrum, technically it works anywhere from 2.5 gigahertz to 90 gigahertz. Now, just to give a reference, how different it is from the earlier spectrum users, we were using from 800 megahertz to 2.5 gigahertz. Correct me, Devabrata, if I'm wrong. 2.3, 2.4 kind of, yeah. Today, we are talking about 90 gigahertz. Anything above 26 gigahertz is called a millimeter wave. Typically, it was used by for some military use. Now, I have got a radio network guy here. He would appreciate it better, because to design a network, all these Verizons and T-Mobiles, AT&Ts of this world have been talking of 5G. Technically, if I have to build a network from a 2.5 to 90 gigahertz, it's virtually an impossible task today. How do you design your network, radio network? How do you have the devices supporting it? When we launched 4G LTE, again there were issues in various countries about the kind of bands the devices are supporting, and China is using something different, India doing something different, Middle East doing something different, and America, North America doing something very different. So the device compatibility today is still an issue. Probably if you take a phone from US and go and try and log in India in a network, chances are it may not work still. So with such a kind of wide variety of things happening, the policies are evolving on a daily basis. While the think tanks in Verizon is working on launching on network, the think tanks back in White House also working on the policies. So very important for them is to align with the policies. And last but not the least, they need to very strong. Another point as well. Sorry, I missed one. So what important thing is to have a very strong mentor network for them. Because it's very easy, as you rightly pointed out, that they get, deflated in the ways and they lose their original track. For them, it's very important to have a set of, not just one mentor, a set of mentors who will keep them focused, guided on what they're doing. And most important, which is like from a delivery and a planning perspective, they have to pick up one particular sector in one particular industry, a use case of that. Because you are doing, in deep tech, you are trying to build something which is applicable technically, everywhere. But in real life, it will never happen unless until you take one particular sector and one particular use case and focus your all energies and all your research, R&D and development on that. So eventually in that path, all other use cases will keep emerging like little branches, and you won't even realize that in next 5 years you have actually built up a robust product or a robust technology at the base of it. The biggest mistake they make is they consider too many use cases at one go. And it's like building a ship without a design. It's designed to sink. You'll never do that. So these are the few things which, in deep tech especially, they have to follow the best practices.
Great. So these are the set of questions I had. Alex? Yes.
One of the panelists alluded to the health impact. I'm actually curious about that too. Given that the radio waves we're talking about is about 40 times higher in frequency, and because the higher frequency tend to have faster attenuation, they have to have higher emission power as well. So I was wondering, has anybody done the health impact study on this?
There's been
What
many.
did they find out?
There's many studies like that. So that's why. So under 1,000 megahertz is where I have found that many studies. Under 1,000 megahertz, if the wavelength is there, it's pretty safe. It's fairly safe, I would say. I mean, no one's guaranteeing anything, But as White House has done studies, FCC has done studies. So FCC recently emptied up the band for who was using that band again? There was one of the InfoSat company, the satellite company was using that band. They told them to take off on that band network, and FCC at least after doing that study, they have made it safe for 5G band that spectrum.
Another use case I'll say, in Korea they have launched it in two spectrum bands. One is 6 gigahertz and one is 28 gigahertz. So again, after doing all this study, these are supposed to be pretty safer. As I said, technically we can go up to 90 gigahertz, and some of this were used by military for some deadly uses. So things will,
UAV use, UAV control, they use also.
So it will emerge over a period of time, but today it's very limited use. Like most of them are planning around 6 gigahertz to give enhanced EMMB, what we call enhanced mobile broadband. Other use cases will emerge. So in fact, today in 2020 we are talking of 5G and we see some media action. The real potential will be realized over the next 15 years.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's not going to be very soon.
No, I agree, and one last thing to say, when people do ask me the question, I generally ask, even your smartphone that we use right now is not safe. So every smartphone in the box comes with a warning, keep it away 25 centimeters away from your body. How many of you guys do that? So nothing is guaranteed in a way, right? The studies have been done, and they found that it's fairly safe. That's the right exact quote.
Yeah, I think there was some anecdote.
Hey, I'm not the one doing studies.
So we're getting closer to microwave.
Yes,
The frequency of
exactly.
microwave.
Yep, yes.
With that.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
So the logistic case that you're talking about, maybe NB-IoT would work better than 5G for that. Right?
So what will enable that? It's 5G. Because in logistics case, see, 5G is giving you three or four different capabilities which 4G doesn't have. One is of course EMMB, the MIMO thing, multiple inputs and outputs. And that is enabling what? Massive IoT. And that's helping logistics or smart manufacturing and use cases like that. And third thing is, of course, it will be relevant in certain use cases. We call it as network slicing. So within the same session, actually network can be sliced into 3 different kind of networks, 3 virtual networks. I always give a use case example of if you're driving your car, let's say Tesla auto-driven car, you're driving on the road, you and your wife, and you are a stock trader, you want to do stock trading, so you want the least of the latency. You want the most secure, because latency in that case is still okay, but the auto-driving car requires least of latency, you want the most secure network, and say your girlfriend or wife is watching a video on her iPad, and she would like to have a higher bandwidth. Now, all these three are happening in 3 virtual networks. This is called network slicing. So this is possible in 5G.
Any other questions? Otherwise,
Start it?
yep,
pitching
the
now?
pitching. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Sanjay.
you.
Thank you, Amir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, good luck with the accelerator.
Thank you. Thank you. Please spread the words. The folks that you know, they are working on this. Let them talk to us. We'd love to chat.
Okay, time for pitching. I have sent an email to all the registered, all who have registered. So there are buttons through which you can check, and you can vote if you haven't done. So there is one pitching dashboard. It's a Google Docs. So you can see all the participants, how they are scored, how judges have voted, and everyone has voted for them, and they are serially listed there. So the first participant is Andrew Bloom.
Andrew Bloom?
Andrew Bloom, is he here? Huh? Is he not? Andrew Bloom, no, he's not. Max Antonenko, okay.
HDMI. But according to the schedule, I should be the last one.
So pitches are each pitch is for 5 minutes, and I request everyone to send your scores for each of the participants. So there is a score button. Copy your ID, which is your unique ID, and then send votes for each of the participants after their pitch.
So, okay. Hello guys, I'm Max from Robotics. So, and we are developing industrial robots, and not playing toys. It's not a toys. It's really industrial robots with low cost of total cost of ownership, and they can work in industrial surrounding. So the key problem is that 1/4 of labor cost, more than half of the factory space, and a lot of time. Manufacturers spend only for moving parts and materials inside of the workspace, and not for adding value to their product. So we propose the robots which can work out of the box, and manufacturers can get it via subscription model. So please see how our product works in PCB assembly line. So it's totally autonomous robots. It's an electronic production. So we have a robot management system as well. It's like, it acts like Uber for internal logistics. So the market is quite large for warehouse and logistics robots. So the key model we get money. It's a subscription model, like robot as a service, and manufacturers can get robots comparably cheap if we compare with salary for workers. So our main competitor is a man with a dolly, because he is quite flexible and can work out of the box. And our main competitor in hardware, hardware area, Grundsbach, it's a German company. They are developing robots especially for manufacturing, because these guys they are producing universal robots for warehousing only. So, and the key advantage for us is that we have configuration which can work just out of the box. It can be ready in 24 hours after delivery. So, out of our key advantages, out of the box work. It can be customized for a particular industry. We are different touchable equipments, and we are our software. So we support robot collaboration. For instance, it can be used for moving oversized parts in aerospace, for instance, wings or parts of the fuselage. So we are quite young company, quite young startup. So we have one customer, it's Show Factory in Spain. We did it for 30K. We raised some money, but I'm not sure if we can tell that it's from Angel. It's from our software developer, really. Maybe it's kind of yeah, like internal. So we have a technical team. We developed 2 robots with different payloads, and we pivoted from all this e-commerce and 3P and fulfillment to manufacturing logistics. Because it's not so many companies compete in this domain. So we have strong technical team with entrepreneurial background. So I am initially from academia and specializing in mathematical modeling and optimization algorithm. Our CTO, Vladimir, he is developing electronics for more than 20 years and robots for more than 10 years. And also, he's a founder of Aerotech Robotics startup. It's an Irish company, like Kiva Systems. And our advisor, Ilya Shimchik, is artificial intelligence and computer vision professional. And also, he is the head of a race team, Atlas Racing. It's like a Formula 1, but without drivers and electric. Okay, so in the beginning of the next year, we are raising 2.5 million. We'd like to spend it for customer validation and acquisition here, a little bit for product development, and prepare for batch production of our robots. And some small money we are raising till the end of this year. Thank you. That's it. Have any questions?
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
15K you're charging for subscription, is that going annual
yeah,
subscription, right?
It's starting from, yeah.
Annual.
Yeah.
So maintenance costs, who's covering that?
Yeah.
So you cover the maintenance costs? with
Yeah,
the
so
15K?
we, as initial, we get down payment
Okay.
from it cover.
Okay. So you get like an upfront payment. So customization
Yeah,
costs,
yeah.
you say it's out of the box, and you can
Yeah.
customize it.
Yeah.
So who's paying for the customization costs, and what is the range for that?
Okay, so we have, so really we sell 4 times for every customer.
Right.
First, we sell out-of-the-box solution
Right.
of just a trial version up to 10 robots.
Okay.
Then we cover all his logistics process with our robots. Very simple. On the third stage, we deploy full system with optimization and join it with his system of production management.
Okay.
Yeah. On the first stage, we customize joint equipment.
Okay.
Mainly, it's active joint equipment for automate load and load.
Okay.
Am I answering your question?
No, yeah, you did good. Yeah.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
That's it. Cool. Oh.
Yeah. So I love your robots; they're super cool.
Thank you.
But what's your moat? Like, what prevents somebody else from saying, "Hey, it's a cool idea. Let me build another robot just like that. Let me go out."
Okay. So, you see, maybe the answer may be like this. So we understand that a robot itself, as a hardware, will become a commodity in 10 years. That's why our main focus is on software and on special algorithms. So, but we can build robots. We have a lot of experience on this, and it's hard for us to start with third-party robots. That's why we develop robots. So, in this case, in the case if someone would like to develop robots, so we have a lot of competitors. So we can use third-party robots for our software. Maybe this one, or because we are quite good in algorithms and optimization and in robot-robot cooperation. It's not maybe exact answer on your question.
Actually, it's very insightful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So as a follow-up to that, do you have the IP or?
We're not registered yet.
Why not?
Because we are just
Start
starting
pitching.
in the US, yeah.
Okay. So, you know, whenever I hear pitches, and it goes back to my days of doing these pitches, a lot of times on the judging side, we're looking for what you didn't say, right? Because what you already said is out there, it's great.
Okay, thank you.
It seemed to me like your competitive advantage is price, right? That's the one you brought out
yeah.
first, this is it.
Yeah.
Any other competitive advantage other than price? I mean, is it just a race to the bottom?
So-
The next guy is going to make it a 10,000 subscription and you're out of
yeah.
business. Next one after you is 1,000. What's...
You see, our competitors, they sell robots for 25K about, and deployment cost and software is extra. That's why maybe they can. But we will invent something new. I mean, like, yeah.
So one more follow-up, if I can. What's your academic background? Tell us that part.
Oh, I'm a PhD, and so I did my PhD in mathematical modeling of seismic data processing, something like this. So, but all of this is about the modeling of different physical processes on supercomputer, on parallel computing.
I'm guessing you're a professor somewhere.
I was a dean.
There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. Not what your credentials. I meant like,
yeah.
Where did you?
Hmm?
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please take a minute to send your scores for Max. Next, yeah, you can, by the meantime, next participant is Matthew Bryan. Matthew Bryan, CEO of SafeStamp. Is he not there? Okay, Matthew is not there. Baltej Sandhu. Okay. Alex Beretta. Alex. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, please start.
Okay. Good evening, guys. I am Alex Barretta. I am the CEO of SteadyTake. SteadyTake is disrupting the agency model in digital video production, and we are gig economy 2.0. And I want to make a case that the gig economy 1.0, as we've known it today, or up to today, is dying. But let's start with digital video. Digital video is an incredibly cool product to be in today. we have officially entered into the era of video. And video has been the thing on the internet for several years, and every year it's the year of video, and the following year it's even bigger. So HubSpot is telling us that the usage, spend, and consumption of video content are increasing again, and every year it just keeps increasing. 135 billion spent in digital video production for marketing and advertising only, which is an insanely large total addressable market, and that's US only. 15% year-over-year growth, estimated by Forrester Research. These are very, very interesting numbers. Now, I won't bore you with our bottom-up analysis. The total market that we're going after is 63 billion in the US. The part that we're focusing on initially is 19 billion. Pretty good numbers to start with. Now, digital video is being produced today. Why bother doing anything different? Well, because the boutique agency model is broken. If you are a marketer and you need digital video content for your marketing campaigns, for your advertising, especially if you are a largish firm and you have a national presence and you want your video produced all over the country, you have a nightmare of a problem in vendor management. And it doesn't matter whether you're going to the boutique agency or whether you are going to, I don't have it here, to freelancer marketplaces. Upwork, Freelancer, Fiverr, yeah, they have a presence everywhere in the country. Indeed, they are international, but they're even more broken. It's an even worse experience as a marketer to go procure your video content on those websites. We are the alternative. We are efficient, dependable. We operate out of everywhere USA. We are always on. We always have a team available for our customers to produce video, even tomorrow. Right? We're almost instantly available to our customers, and we deliver consistently high quality. We are a professional digital video production agency with a national footprint. Now, how does that relate to the gig economy? Well, gig economy as we know it is officially dead. 85 killed. Sorry, gig economy. You guys know what 85 is. Assembly Bill number 5 in California is officially going after Uber and Lyft and all the guys that are in the business of essentially exploiting freelancers for their own gain. And whether there's any gain in doing that is still to be determined, because Uber and Lyft are actually not generating substantial profits. Now, gig economy 1.0 is not just broken from a regulatory perspective. It's fundamentally broken. It just doesn't work. The platform does not own the network. The platform and the network are antagonistic. The platform, whatever business they're in, driving, delivering, freelancers in general, they're purely transactional. They offer you a ride now. You use the ride, and then you don't have any kind of commitment to them. Nor does the driver or the TaskRabbit or the Instacart driver have any commitment to the platform. They will flip from platform to platform with no concern for any faithfulness to their, let's call them, employer. Only the platform generates leads. It's expensive to generate those leads, right? Every lead that Uber gets, they have to fight for. The marketing spend is high. It's doubtful that they'll ever make a dollar. Enter gig economy 2.0, and we want to call it the steady economy. Now, we're starting with digital video, but we'll move into other creative professions soon enough. We own the network. The network is faithful to us. We are not a marketplace, or we are kind of like a marketplace, but we are really two one-sided marketplaces. We attract video pros on one side, we attract customers on the other side, and we generate loyalty in our video pros. Why? Because we empower them to be more successful than they would be by themselves. Video is the ideal starting point for this approach, because an individual freelancer is not a full-blown video production agency. They actually need a creative director, they need an editor, they need voiceover, they need other talent that we assembled into a virtual production team. So that's the first point. We actually empower them to do more and better than they would do by themselves. But here comes the core of gig economy 2.0. We are transitioning them from 1099, from being freelancers, to being W-2 employees. I will not mention the regulatory nightmare that is, and working within the framework of federal and 50 different local laws to figure out a way to make this happen that is both legal and cost effective. Now, the rules were written to force people to do the right thing. Turns out that if you want to do the right thing out of your own good heart, the laws make it hard for you to do it. So we are working with fancy lawyers to figure out how to make this happen. And we are planning on rolling out the first iteration of this project in Q1. Our videographers are raving about it. Now, I'm forgetting one important point. Our videographers are becoming our marketing team. They are becoming our lead generation agency. Why? Because they see their future in the company. From our perspective, it's as cost effective as 1099, but we generate loyalty. Because the message to them is we have your back. And nobody else does that. The steady take model kind of works. This is 0, right? This is not one of those graphs that start at 100 and reach 105. This is actually from 0 to 100 and, what was it, $105,000 in Q3 last year, or Q3 this year. We're a year old, so for a company that started a year ago, that's pretty good. This is our footprint at a national level. We operate currently locally out of 93 major U.S. metro areas. And we have started doing some international work as well. Okay, that's sort of the next frontier. We have a few more cities to cover, but we're doing pretty good from a network extent perspective. This is where 5G comes in, actually. One of the projects that is going to be a game changer in this industry is to fix what we call the supply chain of video. Right now, the supply chain of video takes at least 24 hours just to deliver the video assets, plus the production or the post-production. We are actually planning on rolling out 5G, and I was mentioning this to Sanjay earlier. We're planning on rolling out 5G to all our video pros, the ones on the field, to be able to upload the content pretty much in real time. So we might be a good partner for you guys. Few companies that use our services. The one that I like best is this, because everybody knows it, Costco. Costco is our customer. You know Costco Auto? You know that you can buy cars from Costco? It's pretty neat. Right? The fact that you don't know them proves that they need our services. They are rolling out customer testimonials. We are shooting customer testimonials for Costco Auto. Costco Auto partners with 2,000 dealerships all over the country, and they want to produce videos to advertise their partnership with each one of these. Okay, couple more slides. This is the managing team. We have 800 videographers in addition to these guys. Alexandria, the original founder of the company, she's amazing. She's the heart of the company. She actually knows video, contrary to me. I am the CEO. I was originally the leading angel investor, so I relate with what you guys do. Aaron, my co-founder down there, he is our chief growth officer. He's the man behind the revenue growth. And Drew is my CFO from 2 jobs back. He is the guy in charge of making sure that we don't go to jail, which is a rather important part of the company. Finally, why are we here? Well, partnerships. If you guys need video, talk to us. We're raising a seed round now, and we'll be raising a fairly large Series A early next year. Thanks.
I have a question. You said you had 93 locations in the US.
90 NTV2.
And you have W2 employees everywhere?
Not yet. We are beginning a proof of concept on the transition from 1099 to W2 next year. Right now, we're working with lawyers, we're working with benefits providers, we're working with payroll vendors. We have a great partnership with a company called Sync HR that Aaron and I knew from a while back. We actually have a past career in HR tech and benefits tech. So we know that space well enough to understand A, that there's a huge opportunity, and B, we know how to navigate it. We have the relationships with the guys that will actually work with us. I called Gusto. I told them, I've got 800 people that I want. They stopped me there. They said, no, 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 can't do that. Thanks, but no, can do. Talked to the Sync HR lady, Pam Glick. She said, that's kind of hard, but we'll work with you. We're working with AJ Gallagher. I was on a call with two of their HR and benefits lawyers earlier today. They were pulling their hair out, but they gave us some really good insight, and we have a current best hypothesis as to how to do that. We have the first kernel of guys that we want to roll this out to, our best producers, and we will roll it out in Q1 next year on a small scale. We want to reach 100 people on the W2 program by the end of the year. We are growing the network like crazy, 800 now, 1,000 by end of Q1, 5,000 if we're able to raise the funding that we need by end of next year. Bear in mind that these guys are actually generating leads for us. So this is amazing. Okay, so we're projecting, everything has to line out, but we're projecting 75 million in revenue by the end of next year. Gross monthly annualized. So gross monthly multiplied by 12. Why? Because we will have, again, if everything lines up as we want it to, we'll have 5,000 people out there generating leads for us, in addition to what Aaron can do behind the scenes with internet marketing techniques. Yes?
So question on the math. You're making $100,000 a quarter today.
Yes.
How do you jump to 75 million in 1 year?
Well, just today we were on the call with, for instance, a customer that would generate about $70,000 a month. Why? Because they have a national presence and they're producing tens of videos a week, right? So the fact that we have this national presence enables us to do business at a much, much larger scale than anybody in the market today. We have there's a huge market out there. We're marketing, but more importantly, we're generating leads through our network, and this is just beginning to happen. We've signed up the first two hybrid video producers, BDRs, as of last week. So that program is starting. Okay, we're at 2 out of 100. I'm committing to reaching 100 by the end of next year, and I'm committing on reaching 5,000 video producers on network, not as W2, but as 1099, by the end of next year. That will take us to some tens of millions. My pitch deck says 30 million, but the projections are 75. The stretch goal is 75.
Just a follow-up question is, from what I'm understanding, this is your booking revenue, not your net revenue.
This is gross revenue. Yeah. Margins are on the order, the low end of the market is about 35%. Okay. The high end jobs about 60%. We're aiming to average out at about 40.
So just like 5 out of 40.
We're aiming to average out at about 40.
So it varies.
It varies per job, right? So if somebody wants to shoot, just shoot 100 videos a week, we'll give them a sweeter deal, right? And it's kind of highly repetitive, not tremendously engaging from a creative perspective, and we'll have a lower margin there. The more interesting jobs are the ones that require a creative director. I think it's time. Creative director, editor, and so on.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, please take a minute to send scores. Our next participant is Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma. Founder AI Tech Systems. Could you come with this?
Can we vote for ourselves?
Ethically, no.
You should not.
Be honest.
Be honest feedback.
Yeah. I'll give myself some advice. Well, as I said, I am actually engaged with customers. Ravi.
Good evening, gentlemen, and lady. I am Rohi, and I'm a professor at CSTU, and I'm going to present AITS. We are putting AI into micro edge devices, starting with 25 cents. And so why is AI moving to the edge? We have 5G experts here. And so this slide actually shows one of the reasons. The top graph shows number of sensors that are growing since 2013 and projecting into 2023. And that compares to the world population. So if you see that graph, we would be crossing number of sensors that are produced annually. We'll be crossing the world population in 2020. And so why is that comparison important? Is it essentially tells you we have one sensor per person produced every year. And if you consider the life of a sensor as on an average 3 years, on an average, all of us have 3 sensors. And the kind of data that is producing is enormous. Just on the pixel explosion side, if you compare that and add all of that, and the calculation shows it there, the 5G bandwidth is away by the factor of 10 to the power 10. So if we double the network speed every year, it's going to take us over 30 years to reach and support all the pixels that are being generated to get the pixels and put it in the cloud. So that's just one of the reasons that why AI is being pushed to the edge. We can't, you can't, transport every pixel to the cloud. And then in every branch of AI, there are stronger reasons that I can go through for the next half hour, but I'll spare you. Just today, in a very reputed conference in Canada, there was a paper that's published by ARM, and they're also going into this domain. They're producing the models in around 2 kilobytes. So ARM, for those of you who don't know, is the king of embedded systems. Right? So they're moving full speed with this. They started before us, and I'll give you some comparisons to where we are and where they are. But these are some of the industries, and it's experts here agreed that this would enable many industries. Edge market growth, this is some of the reports that are projecting the edge market, which is today about 3 million. By 2024, it's going to be anywhere from 66 to 100 billion, depending on which report you read. So it's growing at a phenomenal rate, and this shows you the MCU market growth. Microcontrollers have been there before processors, and they are mature. They are tiny, they require very low energy, they don't need internet connectivity, and everything good you can think about a semiconductor chip is with microcontrollers. And so far, because of this hoopla around AI that everybody needs large machines and GPUs and the business around them and the cloud, people have forgotten that we need AI in these tiny devices too. So they're slowly waking up. And the ecosystem is huge. These are just some of the verticals that you can cover with this, and so I'm not going to get into that. So we at AITS are focused on devices with the small form factor devices like microcontrollers or microprocessors, anywhere from 10 cents to under $10. Think appliances like cars and toys. And in fact, there are 30 billion microcontrollers that are there today in the world because they've been produced since the 70s. So it's a huge supply that already exists. It's an old technology. If you put AI with that, then you expect huge growth. They're cheap, they require very little energy, and they're very reliable because the technology is very mature. Now, by bringing deep learning or machine learning to these tiny microcontrollers, we boost the intelligence of billions of devices that we use in our daily lives, that they can adapt to our daily routine without relying on expensive hardware or internet connection. Now, imagine a smart appliance that can adapt to your daily routine. For example, your phone or a little tiny chip next to your bed could figure out your routine, when do you sleep, on what day, and when do you wake up. And the magical toys that can learn, that can help kids learn. And imagine a child.
5 minutes.
Imagine a child, a toddler.
5 minutes
with,
QA.
okay. So 1 more minute.
5 minutes QA. Up to you.
Okay. So what we are doing at AITS is essentially we are simplifying AI application deployment to these tiny devices. And our competition is essentially Google and ARM. Google has failed in this endeavor for past 3 years. If you go on their site, they had compiler in 2015, which was called XLA, and they are reinventing the wheel again. This June, they started another initiative, OpenML, and they're going to do that vertical all over again. ARM started last year, and just to give you a comparison, Google has 40 operators, ARM has 12, we have 120 as of today. We will be releasing another release next month with 160 operators. So our software is more complete compared to these giants. And this is our team, and we are working with a couple of customers. We are in the ARM ecosystem, and also working with one large vendor, which I can't name here. It's very, very large, and they're working on many things. They have washing machines, they have washers, dryers.
I know which one it is.
Yeah, so that's the intent. To tell you which one is
Start with L.
it. So yeah, that's that company, and also a large GPU vendor. With that, I end. Thank you.
So I have a quick question for you. The technology you're putting, I actually recently saw a company similar, but they're on the software side. And the question with the ARM, so you're going to be working with ARM, or are you competing with ARM at this point?
So it's an interesting dynamics that we are trying to figure out as to how they are adjusting their software and how they are looking at us. But so far it's been collaboration on test cases, but time will come.
Okay, and then one last question was, so your software supports the M series or the A series or both?
M0 to M8.
Interesting. Okay, well, we should talk about that. I have more questions.
So we do support, if you go on the website bit.ly.drn compiler, if you just Google DRN compiler, on the web page you will see all platforms that are supported as of today. We are working on supporting more. There are about 20 platforms that we support as of today, and different distributions and stuff. We are planning to increase that by next month.
I mean, so, it's obvious that you're a professor, because I feel like I got a fun lecture there. Like, I learned a lot in those 5. Seriously, it was great. On the other side, I didn't hear much about the business itself, right? You gave a great case of why this is worthwhile. I think the fact that you're here and you made it this far is worthwhile. So, but I'd love to hear more about how are you going on? What's your customer acquisition cost? What does it take you to get one customer? How much do you have to spend?
Right, so this is a new segment, right? We can create the business model and talk about that and fail and recreate and fail and recreate, and we have done that in the past and it's not working. So I'm not giving you any number as to where we would be tomorrow. It's just that this problem size and the technology that we have will land us somewhere, and I don't have that number.
You gotta plant your flag somewhere.
I don't have that number.
Are you seeking investment?
Yes. So we are seeking seed funding and also collaboration. If you're working on any one of these devices that will help you deploy your idea or whatever have you, come talk to us. We will help you. If it's a new platform, it'll be free of cost. So please use us. It's a free software. including open source code. We're not charging anything. We just want you to use, if you're using or creating any one of these, little tiny things that are so magical and they're going to change the lives of tomorrow. Please do use this. Don't forget to Google DNN compiler. Thank you.
Please send your scores for Rohit Sharma. Our next participant is Praveer Chadda. Praveer Chadda. Volker Dam. Yeah.
All right. Start? Yep. Okay. Well, whoops. No, let's go. Afraid that Microsoft works. So, yes, no, I think we are already done. So, my name is Volker Daum. One looks for you, but we are talking about virtualized updates to avoid software update disasters. What does it mean? The Forrester study just recently came out in 2018, compared a company who runs normal software business and contains about, this is the example company, 12,000 software users, is a revenue of $5 billion, and they experience around 600 update incidents per year, which comes out to failures to users, failures in the systems, whatever. And they predicted that this cost them per year $10.8 million. With Monos for You, we can avoid this and we can save up to 8.7 million of this kind of money. Hard judgment, how can we do this? Basically, maybe to throw about how does it work right now. So we have a huge amount of unsorted patches, which more exceed than 600, so you can imagine 1,000 to 2,000 updates per year. You have unknown dependencies on your whole system landscape. Then you think how it might work. You go into a test, regression test, catalog test, whatever, name it. You try to find, okay, what's happening. It takes a lot of time. You put it on the production. You find out it doesn't work. You roll back. So you have high risk of failure with this kind of updates. How we are going to change that? So we actually trace real life scenarios. So we trace everything kind of down to the last code line. Then we virtualize the update, meaning that we take a copy of the application, we take a virtualized update of the database, we collect this together, we update the copy, and then we run the same data from last Wednesday, so that the system with the update sees the same behavior than the system without the update. Then we overlay them, so meaning we compare them, and the subtraction of both is where are the problems, most likely. Then you can verify the updates, you can run, okay, you know what to do, you can now fix the stuff before, then you can roll it on the production, and you have a much lower risk that this update is going to fail. Just to give you a brief overview how does it look like, so this is a 3D view of the structure of a software program, and we can highlight then the pinpoints where the actually software engineer knows, okay, this is this kind of structure, or this is kind of this area of the program. Why now? First of all, you have an exponential increase in data which coming up to them, as well as applications, microstructures, containerization, all this kind of stuff. It's getting more and more complex, the whole systems, how they work together. And you're most likely overwhelmed by how they work together. So therefore we see the right time, and also the power is there, so we can collect the data, we can save them, we can also analyze this. Our market, we consider this as we compare us with the application performance management tools, which are there to control this thing, but after rollout, we did it before. So we see a TAM of $51 billion US dollars. Because of that the actual market of the application performance management tool is right now 5.1 billion US dollars per year. And they're saying we captured with these tools 10% of the whole market, which is able to capture, so that we come up with this number. And then we just go to our verticals. We consider automotive, government, and telecom right now. So therefore, this is what about 750 million US dollars out of this whole pocket right now. Our competitions. So we're saying, okay, what's the number of possible users and frequency? So you see, based on let's say, Neuralink has around about 50,000 users. Dynamics Race has 2,500. Much more bigger, much more smaller, but you see the differences. As well, frequency of use. Yes, you are going to use them a lot, but there's a small amount of users. In our case, we think that we can grab more of this market because everybody has to do an update. So at least I see a big market potential, upside potential to other companies than besides this one, because they're also very expensive. Our business model is in 3 parts. So we're starting with kind of, let's say, we charge per server, per virtual server or server, whatever. And then if you just want to make a performance measurement, then we start here. You want to make virtualization, or you want to have the whole stack and come up to 2,500 per server. Our go-to-market strategy, as I said, is first of all we implement our performance tracking, which we need right now, and it gives the first preparation for the customer what we do. In our verticals, telecom, government, and automotive. Then we can upsell after 3 months later with a virtualization, and then 3 months later, after the start, we can give the whole stack to the customer with training phase and stuff like that. As well, we want to sell through partners, so we don't want to not going direct, because most of the big companies, there are consultants in there, and we can create for them more upsell in their hours. We don't want to get the hours, we want to get the recurrent revenue out of the tools. Our team consists of, let's start with Tony, 2 Tonys. Tony from the sales side, so he has customer growth 10x lots of times, so he's 20 years in the software field. Then we have our CTO, Tony. He rather, let's say, made a large US corporation very successful in annual recurrent revenue of 500 million more than they had before, based on his systems. And I'm the idea behind this, so and I sold also my company by 10x after we were successful. Just want to leave this up to you. So this was a customer statement which I got by talking to the customers. Just to give some more feedback, so with Porsche, this is more Porsche consulting. As I said, this is to talk to the consultants there, as well to the government contractors, which I cannot name right now. But, so we're talking to them, so hopefully we get before Christmas then the first project signed on, that we can start with them to work as well. So we're asking for 500K, which is used for marketing, development, and infrastructure, and then we want to scale up with over the next years with ramping up the business with the software contractors. And last but not least, there are some references out there which are already using part of our stuff. So the analyzer and the visualizer is used in several parts, and you can imagine which company I was talking to. So therefore, I'm just proud of this. This runs by virtualization here. Summarize it, so we are creating a new market for update virtualization. I hope that we get 500% growth in 3 years. And we think the XML molecule could be 20 times, so this is based on how application performance management tools were sold to companies. So, any questions so far?
2 minutes left.
Just a question.
Yeah, sure.
So I know New Relic people very well. I mean, the competitive advantage that you were saying is your software is able to handle more updates, hundreds of millions of devices, and you're saying it's less expensive. Not really compelling argument here.
The Relic stuff is more likely after you do it. So
Right.
our
After it's deployed
USP
live.
is the comparison, is the visualization of the updates, which can feed on the New Relic. We can capture data from them, so as well that we can work together.
So it's more of could be more a partnership versus
Correct, yes.
that reviews before the updates for these, right?
Correct. Then we feedback can be a feedback loop for CIDC for the development stuff, as well as we're just running such update like a CRM system. Whatever.
You may want to clarify that.
Yeah, sure.
This is interesting. And that's more clear to me now.
Correct.
Thank you.
I mean, why is the growth so slow? Are you trying to? Did you give up too much on your first company and trying to get less? Are you trying to raise less money for a purpose, or I saw 500K and then 750 and then 2.5?
This is next year, so.
But my point is, if you prove that this works, right? Why not raise?
I'm a German, so that's why I'm maybe ask more less than I should maybe. So.
Okay.
I definitely would go for a million, so no doubt about that. So.
Yeah.
So we just right down with this since July. So. Any question? Thank you.
Please send your scores for Volker Dam. Our next participant is Glenn Kim Davis. He's not there. Henley. Henley is there.
I don't have a PowerPoint slide. I'll just talk.
Okay.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Alan. I'm a developer of a mobile app called Bosch. It's a location-based chat room app. It's meant to bring chat room experience to the venue of events like meetups, conferences, expos, etc. You may ask, why do you want to bring chat room experience to meetup events? Meetup events are meant to meet people in person, talk to people face to face, right? But here's the problem with a lot of meetup events that I go to. When I go to meetup events, I try to meet a particular type of people. Today's event, I'm trying to meet investors. In certain event, I'm trying to meet experts in a particular field. So the way I do it right now, and everybody else do it, is basically ask people one by one. And if there are 50, 100 people in the event, it's impossible for you to talk to everyone. With the location-based chat room experience that I brought to the event venue, everybody can create a chat room, including the event organizer and the event attendees can create a chat room. And in the chat room, everybody can make an announcement saying, I'm looking for this type of people. Whoever want to talk to me, I'm the guy sitting in this part of the room, talk to me. So that will make the networking experience much efficient for the event attendees. And the second problem with a lot of meetup events that I go to is basically the audience oftentimes don't have enough time to ask questions to the presenter. I went to a lot of technical events, like events about Docker, events about iOS, Android development, and NLP and other machine learning type of stuff. So oftentimes the presenter, we have like 3 presenters in the event, and we have a pretty tight schedule. Each presenter only have time for maybe 1 or 2, 3 questions, that's it. And each question has to be pretty quick because the schedule is pretty tight. With this location-based chat room experience, things can be a lot more efficient because oftentimes the presenter have colleagues and co-workers located in the event venue. During the talk, the audience can ask questions in the chat room, and the colleague of the presenter can answer the question for him. So this Q&A actually can happen in parallel with the presentation and afterwards as well. So these will get a lot more questions answered at the event, and after the talks, they will have a much deeper conversation, because the chances are that at that point it's probably just follow-up questions about the topic being discussed. So that will make the communication and the information exchange much more efficient comparing to the current way people are doing this. So these are the major selling point of this app. I have other use case in mind. For example, small businesses who have like shops somewhere want to make instant promotion or discount and let everybody around them know about it. They can use the chat room to do this. Why using this as opposed to Groupon and other stuff? Because this thing can be done in 5 seconds. Creating a chat room only takes 5 seconds. You don't need to update your website. You don't need to make posters, the flyers, and anything. You can create a chat room in 5 seconds, and boom, after 5 seconds, everybody around you within a couple of miles will see this. So that's another use case I have in mind. So how the app make money? I'm sure you wonder this. So one is basically in-app purchase. So the chat room right now is temporary. It's basically valid for 24 hours. But if in the meetup events people want to keep the group for maybe another 7 days, a month or so, they will need to pay for it. And another monetization method will be through some sort of targeted advertisement. So right now, it's the iOS version of the app has already published. It's in the App Store. Everybody can download it. And I'm working on the Android version of it. So I hope I can progress faster. So I'm looking to hire an Android developer who can actually do the Android part for me, a web developer to develop the web version of this application, and also a growth hacker / marketing person to actually promote the app to drive the rapid adoption of the app. So I need to hire 3 people. I don't have the money, so I'm looking for about 200K investment who can jumpstart this process. And by the way, I have already created a chat room for today's event. It's attached to this room. So everybody in the room can go to the Apple's App Store and download the app and see the chat room I created. And you can chat with me and ask me any question about my app. So I would not take the time of this event to do the Q&A, because Q&A can do it in my way, which is much more efficient. So let me repeat the name of the app. It's called Proche. Spells like P-R-O-C-H-E. It's the French word for nearby, close by. So I encourage you to download it right now and chat with me. So I'll be around, but in case you want to talk to me face to face, I can certainly do so.
One quick question.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about competitive landscape. Is anyone else doing similar thing anywhere you know?
There are a lot of apps doing similar things, but nothing done in my way.
Which is?
There's a Graphify. There's an app called that. It's meant to be like creating events for nearby people, and somehow they can communicate. But the communication part is not well implemented compared to mine. Yeah, but because that app emphasizes on creating instantaneous, impromptu events and broadcast it to people nearby. It's more focused on creating the event, whereas my app is not focusing on creating the event. It's more like improving the event experience. Because think about it, Meetup and Eventbrite has already done a pretty good job in setting up the events and bringing people to the events. But they provide almost nothing to improve the experience during the event. So my focus is really improving the experience during the event.
So
yeah.
The last thing I would like is to download one more app. And it happens to be that many times during conferences such as Hoover, they'll make you download the app as well so that you receive these benefits. So how do you expect to get, and more importantly, keep customers?
Yeah, I got this question before. I don't have a good answer for that, to be honest with you. Given that this is a standalone app, you just have to download it to use it. But I remember I mentioned I want to hire a web developer to develop the web version. That's perceived as a smaller commitment from the user's perspective, right? Because you only need to go to the link and the chat, and once you're done with it, you just close that tab and you're done with it. So that's a smaller commitment. I agree with that. So I think to address that concern, I guess having a web version, have a web version of the app, and give the user the choice to use the web version versus the the mobile version. I guess that's kind of solved the concern a little bit. But to be honest with you, even if you use the web version, I still need to know your location to make this thing work, right? So I need to know your location no matter what. Yeah.
Good spirit, but
Yeah.
There's quite a few apps like that. I think one benefit advantage that you can look at is like really go and focus on what they are actually focused on. So there's an app called Betty, B-E-B-B-I-E. It's London-based. So
Okay.
it's only London. They do it very well. Grown in Natalie Torin, who's the founder. So I mean, they have advantage in London, New York market. You can create something here, but it's just like learn like what they're doing. It's like could be beneficial to you. Like just.
Okay.
There is also Umbrella, right? Yeah. Umbrella also is used.
His goal is to just learn like
There
what
are
they're doing.
at least 5 or 6.
Better.
Wait, they have already failed or what?
No, just learn like what features are working for them
Uh-huh.
and what people are talking about their features, and it could be that something that interesting down the line. Because I like the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a competitive advantage, right, have you put any thought into what you do with all this great data that you create, that you're collecting, like all the collective intelligence of this room you could have captured by us chatting. But
Yeah.
what do you do with it once you have it?
Yeah. The data can be monetized for
Right.
sure, but I'm reluctant to broadcast that message because that kind of caused the concern of the users, like what she just mentioned, right? So and I would use that as a last resort for monetization.
Not all monetization is bad and evil, right? There's good ways of monetizing.
But here's the thing: a lot of people express the concern about privacy.
Yeah.
Because I have to know your location to make it work. Because I know where you are. So but people have concern about it. So I'm reluctant to kind of take advantage of the data. At this stage, maybe even later stage, I would rather monetize through different ways. Yeah. There was a question about.
I don't have a question. I have an unasked suggestion.
Uh-huh.
I think we just focus on meetups in the Bay Area. Technical meetups in the Bay Area should be a good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, just.
Yep. I agree.
Could you just partner with meetups rather than just kind of be on top of their stuff? You don't have to do an app. You just already there and you click onto it and you can find out all the
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, that's something I can consider for sure, but I haven't think about that deeply. Yeah. So can you repeat that?
B-E-B-B-I-E.
B-B-I-E. Okay. And the other one you mentioned was how to spell it? Okay, great. I'm gonna look it up. All right. Other questions?
No, nice job.
Thank you.
Well done.
that's fun.
Yeah. Hope to chat with you in the chat room shortly.
I mean, I have a Samsung, so apparently I can't.
Oh, okay.
So there's your chance.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, please send your scores for Healy. Next participant is Sergio Smirnov. Okay, he's not there. We have one participant from New Delhi. He applied to it, and we told him he can participate remotely, but I don't know now.
Yeah, I mean, can you connect to the computer and you can see the screen and stuff? I'd love to see it if it's possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we will do it later.
That's fine, we can wrap it.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
listen to it later.
All right. So yeah, that was it. Yeah. So we'll just announce the winners of today's event in a minute, and then you want to
Yeah.
We have
do
all
something.
all the inputs.
Yeah, that will be shared with all of them. I mean, everyone can see. It's all transparent, shared with everyone.
Okay.
So just in a minute. Hmm? Yeah.
Who is the public thinks?
Who is what?
Who's got the most votes?
Yeah, I'm just telling you.
Those votes come from. No, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Are you staying anonymous? You stay anonymous?
They've been doing it for a while.
Go back to the people.
Okay, so it has been calculated. You can announce.
Okay, let's do it.
Through your.
Can Max, you guys see it?
Yeah.
I think everybody's a winner. That's it. See, I should give the. I should be the one to it. I think everyone's a winner. Yep.
Just tell me. Mine is just popping up. Who's the winner?
Yeah. Okay. I'll
How would you build this fucking system like crazy?
So our winners are Rohit Sharma, number 1. Good job. Great pitch, great product. Public is decided. We have Alex Beretta, 2. And then Woka Dom, number 3. I think he just left his daughter says to go back to sleep. So, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you all for coming and learning about our program and everything. We'd love for more support and feedback from the community. Thank you.
And one quick thing,
Oh, yeah.
please go to the modelaccelerator.com. If you want to apply for our program, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
We have your contact, we would love to chat.
Yeah, if you go on our website, there's the application on it. We should be making decisions by the 3rd week of December, I believe.
Yep.
Right? For February cohort.
And you can also spread the word with your circle.
And we're fine. Thank you.
And thank you, Atul, for
Thank you, Atul.
organizing this. He's a great guy. Like, bringing people together is awesome.
Came all the way from New York for this.
All the way from New York, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Photo with the.
Photo with Prakash, please.
All of you can.
I think that was a lady, though.
Yeah.
Prakash is yeah, we gotta talk to her.
Sure.
The
Thank you
Rochester
very much.
guy.
Rochester, yeah. Close to my house.
Talk to me in touch.
Yeah.
Apparently the state of New York is giving
Thank
us a fight.
Yeah.
Interesting.
know,
get like,
or maybe we came here
Yeah,
just for you.
we knew all along.
University of Rochester, if you need any connection or anything.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of researchers from there as well. They have the new.
I am very actively connected with
They have the new 3D printing lab there.
Yeah.
Wanted to do the same thing in Russia.
Yeah, definitely. I'm close to the Rochester alumni.
so you're interrupting 1 second. Okay. This is
Oh.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I was.
Football guys together, eBay guys together. Guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Yeah. And I was at eBay. Yeah.
What you're looking for.
Yeah. And I can, let me take the emails. Send me your emails versus LinkedIn so I can share you our presentation. This one talks about what the vertical is, how to be provided.
I was a visa sponsor, so I would.
Absolutely. Rochester, I mean, I would preferably do it in fucking New York City. But Rochester, sure.
Now I
But I will take yours. Where we have LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's a good idea. Let's do that.
No, for sure. Actually, let me take a picture of you guys.
I've never used that.
Techcode or the no, Amir Khan is common.
Right,
It's very common.
Yeah, no, original was like 18, so
I like the hat. It works for you.
What do you
know? How do you know what's going on?
So that's how my non commission on that.
Oh, shit, yeah. Those are the guys one next to me. I need it.
Very interesting.
Then right, so that's how we got. Oh, sure.
We can have somebody. Go ahead, no. Oh, you want to ask? Oh, this is somebody else. They all look the same.
You're good, dude. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
I'll send that to you.
Don't send your church okay.
I have to say it. You have to ask me.
Oh, yes,
Well, if you're back in SF before Sunday, hit me up. If you want the information like this, grab a coffee or drink.
We're drinking too. This is our bus version this out.
That's a good idea. Nice meeting you. Take care.
All the people. Oh, nice meeting you.
Keep in touch.
See you soon.
Very nice to meet you.
Chetan Sharma, he's going to be here for the. He's going to be here next week for that conference. Edge computing. He's giving the keynote there. No, so I'm actually trying to meet him because I haven't seen him in 10 years. I'll meet with him and I'll tell him that I'm going to introduce him.
Yeah, I'm meeting with a lot of analysts, but
yep.
As long as these are right on.
Oh, it is connected with 5G.
That's 5G and above.
Oh, wow. That's the first one to get.
Components.
Yeah.
So maybe how many companies
Now we are using Wi-Fi. Maybe just 5G. I have no idea.
Well, I think
but thank you for coming.
That thing I booked it just yesterday before meeting you. Last minute. Yeah. No, okay. And then I had a back-to-back day today. I even got lunch at I think 4 p.m.
So is it the only standard
Next week I might be in the city. तो फिर मैं आपको अभी ये number I don't have your number.
like 5G?
But I think most of these initiatives are like
My number is 650.
they are scouting for the startups in all the hospital. And we can based on those, and then
Yeah, next week I mean I should be in the city and might be Tuesday, but I'm not 100%.
we want to make it that's our
Okay, can you be by
नहीं बस I'll leave.
or I can
Thanks. Yeah, no problem. If you have some kind of summary of the companies today.
Yeah, no, oh, companies, and then I'll send you this one too.
Yeah, if you can.
This
send
is
me
our
that.
deck, right? This is our deck. It's a ecosystem, what we do, these are partners and stuff like that. Really, these are like Starman, what we have here.
Thank you.
And as I was telling people, like, our guys are not just making fun. Our guys are actually funding.
Yeah.
So I think is the guy I was telling you about just here. He's the guy who launched your life. He's the guy.
No.
ये मुझे ये भेज देना है companies that you have now.
We have our environment.
This is a company I want to meet also.
So Fremont Space, out.
And then our website is all plain and simple. So starting February next year, and we will have 8 startups, and we will run 2 protocols per day. So 16 we have they will have either the investment in land, very early. We are very focused on this, so it has to be in this space, like so that they have a use case that they want to use, and we will give so all these products which are the at least 3 to 4 opportunities are ours. And they will be the main customers. So they will
But you
mentioned that way you can whatever the pivoting you I think because we do not want to waste more time when we ourselves
right now
is not big enough. So we take the idea of create options there and
it was older class communication. I cannot the data and AI part
there so that we invest in it. Then we will have
80 foreign exports that Conquest brought in because he figured that for a network that advanced system. It is, by the way, the most advanced network. Yes, and I know this brand new. It's not only brand new, but because of the details of how the technology was used. All IP, ADC, and I know this for an objective fact. What you before page use that be. I used to heading a product for an Israeli company that a US company had brought in. And we wanted where there are 18 operators in the world that have a 1 billion a year. 40 of them that have been used. That was new networks of half of them. So I'm telling you as a matter of fact, yes. So as a matter of fact, what British use was definitely better than your health. So, anyway, so I did my 3 years stint. Everybody want to see this stuff. Sometimes it Flipkart was trying to get bought by Walmart, so they needed a face. Yeah, oh, really? So I was much smaller fry than things like this.